In this video, I'm going to cover section 1.2 Business Strategy. The objectives for this section are to explain why competitive advantages are temporary, identify the 4 key areas of a SWOT analysis, describe Porter's 5 forces model, and explain each of the 5 forces, compare Porter's 3 generic strategies, and finally demonstrate how a company can add value by using Porter's value chain analysis. Running a business is very similar to leading an army. The business manager's job are to set realistic goals and then steer the company toward those goals. Lack of such a plan, called a strategy, will lead to employees heading in different directions, and as a result, the company will implode. Business strategy is a leadership plan that achieves a specific set of goals or objectives, such as developing new products or services, entering new markets, increasing customer loyalty, and attracting new customers or increasing sales. Stakeholders are people who have an interest in a company. They are the ones who drive business strategies, and depending on their perspectives, strategies may change. Stakeholders may have conflicting interests. For example, investors may prefer to increase profit by eliminating employees' jobs, but at the same time, the profitability of a company relies on its employees. So one of the tasks of a business leader is to coordinate stakeholders' interests and act based on a stakeholder's common interest. Business strategies should adjust to the internal and external events such as economic recession, so it has to be updated when necessary. Competitive advantage is a product or service that an organization's customer place a great value on than similar offering from a competitor. Competitive advantage provides the same product or service but at a lower price or with additional values. The competitive advantages are typically temporary because competitors may duplicate them. So companies need to revise their strategies to gain a new competitive advantage. First mover advantage occurs when an organization can significantly impact its market share by being first to market with a competitive advantage. There are 4 business tools for analyzing business strategies. SWOT analysis, which evaluates project's position, 5 forces model, which evaluates industry attractiveness, 3 generic strategies, which choose business focus, and value chain analysis that executes business strategies. A SWOT analysis evaluates an organization's strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, and threats to identify significant influences that work for or against business strategies. Michael Porter, a professor at Harvard Business School, analyzed the competitive forces in a company to measure its profitability. These forces include buyer power, threat of new entrants, supplier power, threat of substitute products or services, and rivalry among existing competitors. Buyer power, the ability of buyers to affect the price of an item. There are 2 ways to reduce buyers' power. First is by manipulating switching cost, which makes customers reluctant to switch to another product or service. The second is to offer a loyalty program that rewards customers based on the amount of business they do with a particular organization. For example, airline companies offer various programs for frequent flyers. Supplier power is the supplier's ability to influence the prices they charge for supplies. A supply chain consists of all parties involved in the procurement of a product or raw material. A company will be both supplier to customers and a customer of other suppliers. This picture shows the additional supply chain process, the traditional supply chain process. Typically, when a supplier raises prices, the buyer will pass on the increase to their customers by raising prices on the end product. Using MIS to find an alternative product is one way of decreasing suppliers' power. Threat of substitute products or services is high when there are many alternatives to a product or service and low when there are few alternatives. Threat of new entrants is high when it is easy for new competitors to enter a market and low when there are significant entry barriers. Entry barrier is a feature of a product or service that customers have come to expect, and entering competitors must offer the same for survival. Rivalry among existing competitors is high when the competition is fierce in a market and low when competitors are more complacent. Product differentiation occurs when a company develops unique differences in its products or services with the intent to influence demand.